Welcome to this short demonstration on how you can create a KJuicer page and you can start underlining and extract your own text out of it. We are on a Financial Times webpage and we want to take a few notes. So the first thing is you apply the KJuicer to the page just by clicking on the extension on the little juicer that hopefully you know how to install by then. There's a little short video on that. In any case, at this point the page shows the KJuicer user interface and you can directly start underlining it. So let's give it a try, and I'll show you also a little bit the criterias that could help in doing the best possible job and taking the most out of it. Okay. Now I'm starting already to use a little trick. I'm highlighting the I and the T in these two words because I want to connect it in a slightly different change of meaning. And you could notice that I also underline the dot, the final full stop. I'm going to go and highlight in a second level of priority. These are the pieces of the sentence. I'm going to do it this way. Obviously I have to take care of not going above the previously highlighted letters. So I'm not going to go above the I. And I'm not going to go above the dot. Okay, so basically I now created 3 different layers of text. And you can access them instantly just by clicking on this V-shaped button that pulls out the navigation user interface. With the minus, you're going to go to the first level above the original text, which is the largest summary of what you're reading. Bear in mind that if you are bothered by the colors, you can switch them on and off using the lamp. If I click a second time on the minus, which is the sort of zoom out button, I'm going to get to a shorter version of what I underlined. And with the third one, I'm going to get to the very basics. The very basics says Germany's antitrust agency against Facebook to investigate if it abused its market power. So this makes a lot of sense. Now let's go and check the second one. Second one is probably a little trickier. I am already seeing an error. Germany's antitrust agency has launched proceedings against Facebook to investigate if the I network, no, this doesn't work, okay, abused its market power. If the I network, let's have a look at how I highlighted this thing and see. The world's largest social network abused its market power. Okay, this makes sense here. So if I can probably go back and downgrade this green underline there so that it still makes sense. You might have noticed, but when we are in the underlying, the inverted V disappears from the user interface. You see, you don't see it neither on the first level, nor on the second, nor on the third. But when you go back to the original text, it shows up, meaning that you can actually underline at this point in time only on the original text level. Here it is. Okay, so we saw that we probably don't like the fact that this NET is not consistent with a full sentence. So I have actually turned the light green into dark green. Let's have a look if it makes sense now. The words are just social network abused. This is perfect. Oh, there's also this D that I want. If it. So I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to leave only this piece as a second layer. Now, makes sense. Makes sense. Bam. Okay, cool. Let's go back. It's not that you need to do this every time you underline a sentence. This is just an example to give you a clue. But when you actually do it a little more often, it sort of comes obvious what you can and you cannot do. Bear in mind that obviously you can underline in just one color, and what will happen is the KJuicer will extract only one layer of text, and that's okay. You will have your notes. They will work perfectly fine. But the maximum advantage is when you actually do it with different colors, because this way you have multiple summaries. The really, really short one in which you get, the core of it, and then you might have a few more details if you don't remember them, want to explore a little more, or you have the full of what you really want to take out of the page that you are highlighting. So let's go a little further. Okay, so this I might want to keep. And yeah, let's say that we want to know who did it. Oops. Okay, when you see up here, you see that I basically underlined also above, so I'm making a mistake here. Somehow I picked the wrong place to underline, and I'm making, an error. But what you can do is you use the undo, and it comes back as it was. Bear in mind that you have up to 10 undos. And if the underline you actually undoed was fine, you can actually get it back by clicking on the redo button, which is on the bottom right. But I didn't like it, so in truth, I want it back as I had it before. So now I have to be slightly more precise, and tuck. Okay, now I can underline as I want. Let's go a little further. So this is kind of interesting. Facebook use of unlawful terms and conditions. Okay, so this is what I really want. But I also want to know a little more. There you go. Okay. Obviously, anytime you do this job, you can go back and see if it makes sense, if these are the notes you really want, so on and so forth. You don't need to do it very often, but it is a very handy tool when you're studying something and you really want to get proficient about it, because basically what this tool allows you is to go back to your notes, to go back to the core of what you found. Okay, so it might be a useful tool. I think that's all for now, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.